Hey there, Hugo. Hope you're having a great day today. It's your video lesson. A few things I want to talk about. I'll go down the list, and if you have questions at the end or want me to look at anything, feel free to shoot a message on over, and I'll do my best to answer. So let's get to it. So the first thing is your tuning. It's better, but your B and G string are out. It's enough to be noticeable for me. Like I said, make sure you tune your guitar every single time you pick it up. It's better. The E string was in tunes. That's good. We got that going for us. Just to make sure you every time you pick it up, man, you got to tune it right. Especially in this weather, when it's like humid because it rained, but then it's like dries up like later that afternoon. This weather will mess with the guitars super bad. So even if you tuned it like maybe a couple hours beforehand when you got home from school, it raining and then like the sun coming out and you also know that the house humidity is not as much what it was. Or if you're like, it's in my house, I have a swamp cooler, so as soon as swamp cooler kicks on, I gotta retune all my guitars because the humidity changed in the house. Or like it was cold in the morning, but then like by the afternoon it's all warmed up in there. So like this is the time of year you got to tune your guitar constantly. So cool, make sure to check on that for me. First thing is Sweet Home Chicago. Good, I like it. I like you got the blues shuffle going for you. You got let's see what turn on. Volume out. And then we got the distortion. Clean. Here we go. So good. So that blues shuffle is sounding pretty good. Right, that's all looking good right there. But really what I want to say about that part is your tone. You got the like 80s reverbed out guitar tone going for you. And I know why, is because I love reverb myself. There was a spot in my undergrad school, there was a stairwell. And it was like 4 stories of just like an echo chamber. And I was surprised when there wasn't someone in there practicing because there was so much reverb. Everything sounded like butter. Every note blended to the next note. And everyone wanted to practice in there all the time, and it was like I said, it was a rare occasion there was not a guitar player in that room. But what I would do is I would dial back that reverb, right? Because that style doesn't call for that. What I would encourage you to do is listen to a lot of electric blues players. I guess like Steve Ray Vaughan. I wrote down some names for you to check out. I got Steve Ray Vaughan, Albert King, Albert Collins, Freddie King, B.B. King. The 3 kings, Albert, Freddie, and B.B. And then the other players. So I would check them out and listen to their tone. They're not reverbed out, right? It's pretty dry. They got an amp and a guitar. There might be a little bit of reverb on there. But what you're going to hear a lot of times is actually a little bit of light overdrive. And I'm talking, it's like a seasoning. It's like when you're cooking, right? You got so much reverb on there that we can't enjoy the notes that the blues feel because I'm hearing reverb. That real big reverb sound, I think of like that 80s Dan Huff sort of sound with like, he brought in the Space Rack unit and he's playing on like a Phil Collins album and really all they want him to do is like stuff like that, which is really atmospheric, and that's not what this music calls for. A light overdrive is in your amp. If you hook up to the computer, what you would do is you go to effects and it's under boost, and really there's one on here, it's called Blues Drive. You might want to start there. And go to the boost, bump the boost on. That back a little bit. Not very much. Just real light. I don't have time to fiddle with this. Let's see, bring that volume back. Here. Not even that much. Take it to like here, just that light break, that real light break up. That's really all you need for this. Like if I hit the strings hard, it'll break up on me a little bit like a tube amp, or a tube amp that's being pushed. But you don't need a whole lot of reverb on this style of music. Like I said, if we get into The Cure and Smith, and then Jesus, Mary Chain, stuff like this, Shoegaze Ride, Slow Dive, who else? My Buddy Valentine, stuff like that. Then we can get into like the reverb and the choruses and things like that. But this style doesn't really call for it. Maybe a wah pedal, maybe we use wah pedals, but light overdrive, and you have it in here. It's called a blues driver. And I have mine set. Mine set if it was a clock, it's set at like right about 10 o'clock. Not very much. You don't need a huge amount of overdrive. Just enough that when you hit the strings hard, there, see there, it's not breaking up, but there it breaks up. So your light, break up. Awesome. So do that for me, and then next is the turnaround for Sweet Home Chicago. Looks good, man. Like I said before, I like it. Just be careful on that intro. See, just enough. That might even be a little too much. I might even back that off a little bit. Right? I might just bring that back to 20. There we go. Notice how I pick that. I'm not floating, I'm resting my hand there. Resting the meat of my palm on the strings to anchor myself, and I pick down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, outside picking. Oh. And then after all this stuff, so the next part would be right there. You got yourself a B5 power chord. It's not a full power chord, he's just using a partial power chord. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I wrote the count underneath for you. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, down to mystery chord. This is important for us to know, and we need to talk about this next time. It's that next little thing of guitar theory or fretboard theory that we need to know. Like I said, we knew a little bit of theory, and then we run with it for a while, and then we learn some new stuff. And that's a cool spot right there. And I'll show you what he's doing next time. Unfortunately, I don't want to do that on video. I want to have that where we're talking back and forth. So we have B5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, and back to the beginning. That right there, that A5 is one of our partial power chords, or sorry, one of our partial bar chords. I believe we talked about this already. If we haven't, make note, and I will talk about it next time what it is. I'm almost 99% sure we've talked about this. All right, so we got our little half bar right here, burning across these two strings. Like I said, I'm almost certain we've talked about it, but if I haven't, remind me next time, and I'll talk about that too. Lots of things to talk about. All right, and then with number 2, Howl Book 46. Good, good counting, but it's a little slow in my opinion. It also too, what happened is that it starts off really strong, right? And then as you play through, there was like more silly mistakes than there was in the beginning. And what sometimes happens with that is if you always start from the beginning in your practices, say if you're gonna practice that song and you practice all the way through, if you practice from the beginning, go all the way through, go back to the beginning, practice all the way through, you're practicing the first part a lot, and what's not getting a whole lot of work, because you're probably stopping partway through to fix other things, is you never ever get to those like those B sections or the last little bit where usually the more difficult stuff is found. So what I encourage you to do is pick different spots to start with when you practice it. You don't have to practice from the very beginning. You can go to the second or the third phrase and start there, right? So don't always start from the beginning. And then number 3 is your blues soloing. This is an important lesson to learn right here, which is it's not always about the notes, right? You got some good notes. It's not a flurry of notes, to do with this. It's not. It's not that's important. It's how you say stuff. It's what's called articulation, how you articulate yourself, how you speak, right? And that's what you have to think about with this blues style, is that right now it's kind of like you're playing like all of this. It's all one volume, it's all one dynamic. It is always just this one thing right here. It's like someone talking like this to you all the time. You're speaking English, right? But what you have to do is you have pauses. Where you get louder or you get softer, things like that to think about. The first thing about articulation I want you to think about are dynamics, how loud and how soft things are. So when you play a little blues line, and I'm talking maybe 4 notes long, nothing crazy. that'd be a good example right there. So take that. I'm starting on my E right here because we're in the E minor pentatonic or E blues. E is a good note to start on, right? It shows that there's intention. The idea behind us learning all this blues soloing techniques is because you should play with intent. There's a reason why you're doing what you're doing. There's a reason why you played that note, rather than just playing what I call guitar style guitar playing, which is playing just like, that's not soloing. Right? So when you play with intent, and then I get quiet, right? So see what I did there was I got loud. Draw your listening in with getting quiet. Silence. See, as I get back and forth between something loud and something quiet. You can get louder. It's called crescendo. That was just literally 4 notes in a string bend, right? I wasn't flying all over the neck. So think about things like that when you're doing your blues soloing. It's not all one volume like this, but get loud, get soft, get louder through the line. 4 notes. Don't play all over the neck. If you can't play 4 notes, you have business, you have to play in 5 notes. Awesome, man. Work on that for me. And if no questions, I will see you same time next time. Take care.